Okay, so we are here. This is The Journey with Brandon Thomas, and I have Christina Bach with us today. I'm excited. I feel like we're going to learn a bunch of stuff today.
Is this school?
We're going to find out here. We're going to find out. So basically this podcast is an appreciation podcast, right? It's about appreciating people in the middle of their journeys. A lot of times you don't really get the love you deserve until you make it to some big like platform, Jimmy Kimmel, the late night show with whoever it is this week. So I like to appreciate people in the middle of their journey, like mid-journey. That's where we are.
I like it.
So boom, here's where we are. For the people that don't know, you have a brother. Mm-hmm. He's a thing.
A thing? I think he's a person.
Yeah. Oh, he's a person, but he's also like a thing, right? So I'm going to give him my first interaction. I'm not sure if this is the first interaction, right? So she has a brother. It's a guy you may have heard of. His name is King Batch. He's cool. He's a thing. Or a person.
Person, thing.
Person, thing, person. Does that make him a noun? Person, place, or thing? He's a noun?
Yes,
he's a noun. Okay. We got to settle on noun. And he was like, yo, like, do you want to be in this video? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, well, I'm going to set you up with my sister. My sister's going to call you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, for sure. So Christina called me. She's like, hey, what's going on? We're doing this and this and this at this time, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, damn, like, this is like official. Like, there was like a call sheet. There was like a thing. Like, we had like a permit. Like, it was like,
yeah.
It was like wild. And then I was like,
insurance?
I didn't even know it was some insurance. It was smacks. And I'm sitting here looking like, oh my goodness. It was like the first time I had experienced like influencer world, right? We were talking earlier off camera. It was like I'm a early 2000s actor. And that path is you do commercials until somebody trusts you theatrically, then you attempt to work theatrically, right? Whereas her brother's an influencer, and then from influencing you develop XYZ, and then you branch out to do whatever it is that your heart desires. So when I see Christina, I'm like, she kind of looks like she's in charge here just a little bit in terms of like the stuff that's going on and like how it's working. And as our relationship grew and, you know, as we all became friends, I was like, oh no, Christina's doing stuff. Like I have a sister, right? And we like help each other with stuff, right? Like she's really good with like graphic design and stuff. And like she'll make like flyers. She made like flyers for the last short film that I did. Oh, nice. But Christina was doing other things. You know what I mean? So can we get into like your role like in the industry? Like what exactly would you call yourself? Like what exactly do you do?
I mean, I'm Jamaican, so I basically do everything. It's a thing of like you figure it out.
Totally. Did your relationship of figure it outness and where this is the lowest scale of figuring it out. Figuring it out is not the word. Today, we're in the modest and humble hour apparently. We're a little bit past figuring it out. But how did you get into this place? Did you just see like a void and you were like, I want to help here, blah, blah, blah? Or was it your strong suit already? Like,
it was, I saw a void. I've always supported my brother in everything he's done. Right. I was in my past life, I was an auditor at Deloitte and Touche. So that was like my main thing. So right. Like I did a lot of startups, a lot of Japanese clients. One of my clients was like Forever 21, so I was like their auditor for a couple of years. Wow. Yeah, so I branched off from that. And, well, on the weekends, he would do production. So I'd work doing that during the week, and on the weekends, I would help him produce. And self-taught, learned from watching other producers, and then kind of just took it off from there. And one day, his manager was switching companies, and I had, when did I leave? I left Deloitte on a Friday, and I was turning 25. I was like, I'm going to travel the world. Ooh. I was like, I'm going to explore. I had money saved. So I was like, I'm not going to work. Yeah, I was like, I had been working like 17-hour days, 6 days a week, because I did not work on Sunday. Did not call my phone. That is the Lord's day.
That's
the Lord's day. Don't call me. And I was just like, I'm literally gonna take all that time that I had and that I didn't spend enjoying my life. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy it for 6 months, for a year, till my money's almost done, and then I'll figure it out. Because somebody will hire me. I was like, I'll figure it out. And a couple days later, my brother's manager had started to like switch companies, and then my brother's like, "You're now my manager," and I was just like, "I had vacation booked." He was like, "You could take your 1 week vacation," and then I hit the ground running. But I had that business background. I had those fundamentals. We have a nonprofit together, so we have been working together for like years already.
Right.
So we understood each other's working style, and we just figured it out together on the way.
That is crazy. And I think for me the coolest part in it was seeing how, I think from the outside world, right, like we see these like influencers, and I think that people can think that it's just them. Like it's Batch and he's got a camera and and he's out shooting all this crazy stuff. But like when you're able to like look behind it, you kind of get to see like this team of people that again, you just kind of go further with a group, and you kind of go, you can get the things accomplished with the right people.
It's like strengths and weaknesses. It's like knowing your weaknesses and really relying on other people there, knowing your strengths and really pushing yourself in those areas.
Totally. So now so you're just the manager? Like that's like,
I mean, I'm a manager, I'm a producer, I'm a help with all this stuff on the business side.
Right. So do you like? So you start managing Batch. Obviously, things are going okay. I think he's doing all right.
Yes, he's doing okay.
So now, are you like, okay? So I want to be like a manager. I want to have like a management firm.
Yeah, I mean, it was his idea. The most important thing when you have managers is being able to trust someone, and be able to know that they have your best interest at heart. But also they're good at what they do. Right. So he saw as like, I trust her. Everything she does with integrity. But also, I'm good at what I do. Yeah. So it became a thing of like, oh hey, you need help to other people that he knew in the industry. My sister can help you, and from there, our management business grew.
That's dope. That's really dope.
I got him. He has no questions.
No, I absolutely do have questions. It's just like putting the questions like in order, like without going like too crazy. Do you love this, or is it? Gosh. Are you just good at it?
I mean, I feel like you love anything that you're good at, right? Because it's so hard to go somewhere and be stressed out every day. Yeah. But I love producing. I love being on set. I think what I really love is I love problem solving. And once you get excited about seeing a problem and figuring out the different ways you could solve it, right, then that's really where the fun comes into play. Right. Because I've created and crafted new types of deals, new types of brand deals. I listen to what people want on both sides and then really create new deals, new ways of solving problems on set, like being able to think ahead, right, and just have, when I say have contingency plans on top of contingency plans, that excites me to like know it's like, if this goes wrong, I've already thought about that, and I've thought about the 6 different ways that I could solve it. Wow. On top of the 6 different ways that I've solved, the ways I could solve it, I've also thought about things that I've done in those situations and what has gone wrong in those situations. So if that contingency plan goes wrong, this is how I'm going to fix it. And like, right, oh, it's already handled. Time management, like all of that. I really just get excited about problem solving, doing new things, figuring it out, messing up, but then trying to be like, okay, how do I fix my mess up? Or how do I turn what I messed up into something positive? The way I look at it, everything's a learning experience. Right. So where can I learn the most? Is it a new area? Why not? Let's try it. Right. Doesn't work.
Do you feel the pressure because you're dealing with your brother to not mess up? Or do you feel like you have more And I don't think anybody wants to mess up, so I want to fix the question before I give it to you.
No. I think I get the question.
Right.
I don't feel the pressure because I believe everything works out in life, and everything when you trust and you believe in God, it's like even if that situation doesn't work out, it's a learning experience for later.
Right.
There are some things where it's just like, oh, that went wrong. But then I think about it later and I'm like, great, I learned that went wrong in that situation. I fixed it then. So now in the future, I know what to look ahead for. And it's really taking everything as a learning experience. Life is a learning experience.
I think. That's what they say. I don't know if it's true exactly. Is it hard in this industry being a woman?
I think it's hard in every industry to be a woman. I think it's hard to be a black woman in every industry. Yeah,
fair enough. I just think it's like, again, it's all so new. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you just got in 5 years, you know what I mean? If you stepped in a manager at 5 years ago, and then, you know, and maybe Bastion's been doing this for 10 years ish.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's all just like so interesting, and I'm just like what is the biggest thing that you did to like learn it?
Observe, ask questions. I think a lot of people are scared to ask questions because they're like, I don't want to come across as dumb.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you don't ask those questions and you don't get that understanding, it's going to cause problems later down in the line.
You're going to be dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to look dumb, but it's different to actually be dumb.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, ask those little questions, get that knowledge, understand why you're doing something,
right,
how it's supposed to be done, so you can actually do it on your own later.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, again, I think that my fascination is the transition, and I think maybe it even works out the best that you guys get in when you did, because you're not tainted by an old style, or you don't have like we're having a conversation off camera where we're talking about something that could be going on, and it's like the phobias because you came up in this particular style that you're like, what is this? And you're like, no, we came up in this style where this, yes, go, do this. You know what I mean? Because this. And I'm like, but what about, you know, whereas like a Denzel Washington, Will Smith, like, you know, Will Smith gets on social media in 2019.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where social media is,
and he loves it. But there was a period of time when stars, the less you knew about them, you're not supposed to see them. Mm-hmm. When you see them, it's a big deal. And there, you know, and it was like a taught like you lose your magic if people see you too much, if you're too accessible. Now it's like, we want to see what you ate from your stomach. Mm-hmm. Like we want to, like we don't want to take us everywhere with you.
We want to know what kind of toilet paper you use, and it's like, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just like it's a different game. Do you see any challenges in the future, like as you're navigating the future? Mm-hmm. What do you see? Do you predict any future challenges, or is there anything that you're trying to figure out like right now as you're trying to, you know, have your ultimate goals of
I guess what I would love to see happen is, how do they take black people out of the bubble that they put them in? Ooh. Like, how do you make what you watch on TV, what you watch on your computer, your phone, whatever, how do you make that reflective of the world that you actually live in?
I completely agree with that, and I think that I agree with it again. And the biggest example for me recently has been Black AF. Mm-hmm. And like, people are killing it. But I'm like, no, I absolutely love it. And this is the thing. I don't care if it's good. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's good because it's representation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know where you can see a black man with tattooed hands be stinky rich, be in his family's life, and live it up. You know what I mean? Where when we look at these family shows, we're talking about the Cosbys, we're talking about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That shit been off TV for 50 years.
Bruh, Family Matters. He's like,
yeah.
Bernie Mac show. It's like, people who grew up in like the last 10, 15 years, they don't know that.
And they're only getting these old examples. Like, man, let me tell you about some good music. Here goes this Michael Jackson. And you're like, I don't want to hear music. Tell me what's going on right now. Yeah. You know, My Wife and Kids is like one of my favorite shows, and I think that's like the last one that I can think of. And it's just kind of like, And for me, it's super big on representation. And I think like the bubble thing you're referencing is like when you watch Tiger King, and you see Tiger King, and we don't associate Tiger King with a race of people. We associate it with Joe Exotic, and that's it.
Carole Baskin killed her husband. Yes,
she did. But their names, they're people. But if you watch Tyler Perry, they're like, why do they show black people like that? Who would ever? And it's like, as a black person, I know black people like that. So for me, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I understand the areas where people could feel like it's problematic.
But I think you find that it's problematic because there's no other representation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because there's no representation, you see a black person and you associate it with black people. Whereas we got every type of white person on TV, and it's like, no, so now you see them as people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not like, look at this white guy. I'm like, Joe Exotic, they're crazy in Texas, you know, and Oklahoma.
And Florida. Be careful, I'm from Florida.
Oh,
tread lightly. Look. I could say it because I'm from Florida, but tread lightly.
You already know. You already know. So, yeah, man. I agree with that, and I think that is special stuff. Okay, so if your life was a book, right? You go through the book. Every chapter in the book has a name. Okay. The name of this chapter in your book is what?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Well, I guess.
It's called a stumper.
Right? So, did I write this book or did somebody else write the book?
You are currently writing the book of your life. Don't try to get out and around.
The chapter is called It Is Live. Oh. It is live.
Care to
not at all.
Give us one.
You're like, what?
Oh my God.
You just asked me for a title. You didn't say I had to read the chapter.
I was just curious, like, what is that? What does that mean? Like, can we get
live.
like a...
You ever walk into a room and then walk out and be like, yo, it was live?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. So dare I say it's lit right now.
It's lit. I love it. You need to write my book.
Boom. Okay.
It's lit right now.
It's lit right now. Wow. Okay. Well, since we can't get any more details than that.
I feel like it was a great chapter.
Yeah. Oh, so is this the end of this chapter? You moved into a new chapter, or is this the beginning of It's Live?
I think it's the beginning of It's Live. It's within the, what do you call those things where you have like multiple chapters? What's those sections? You know how books are divided, like section 1, section 2, section 3?
Different acts?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the act is like living my best life. Right. And then.
So we're in Act 2. So Act 1 was the grind.
Act 1 was the grind. I'm still grinding.
No, totally.
Act 1 was like.
But I think it was like grind exclusive. You're talking about 17-hour days at a place that you didn't exactly love.
Yeah. And then doing production on the side.
Totally. Do you like production better or management?
I like them both in different ways. I think they both, there's like multiple sides or like different muscles I like to exercise.
Right.
And they like exercise different parts of my brain.
Totally. Do you have any goals in production?
I think my goal in production is to create as many positive things that show people in their positive light. And by people, I mean black people.
Okay, totally. That's what's up. You don't do like awards excite you? Like that type of thing?
No.
Same. No. Although, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I would love all of the awards.
Like, I'm not saying no to the Emmys and the Oscars.
No.
However, I would prefer my paycheck to reflect my worth.
Yes.
Than to have the Oscar and the Emmy.
I got a couple of speeches written, so if anybody, just a heads up, I don't want to poo-poo the awards that are coming my way. But for me, whenever I'm on like my own sets, I always desire, and I tell everybody in the beginning, I want this to be real and relatable. And I think that when you get those two things, it connects to people. And I think when you connect with people, you get those other things that are like byproducts of just making the most real, relatable thing that you can make from my point of view.
Yeah, it's like you put up the best product quality possible.
Right.
And then whatever results come from that. But it's like, when you put out great things happen.
Totally. See, and I think that, look, I'm like, this thing.
You have no questions for me.
No, what I'm excited right now. I have a question because I'm like, where does it end? Like, is there like a cap? Because like you guys have made like a feature, like you guys have made a billion things underneath it. So it's like what is it? Like what's next? Or?
I mean, we try to change the world. I built a track at my dad's old high school in Jamaica.
That's lit.
It's the first track at an inner city high school. It was the second track in all of Jamaica. When I went back to my dad's school, they still had the dirt track he was running on in the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Oh my.
That same dirt track. And we're like, this has to change. I mean, we do scholarships in Jamaica. I had 5 medical doctors graduate from med school last year. I have an additional 3 medical doctors graduating this year. And they're starting a program where they do free testing for people who need to go to school who can't afford it. So it's just like, when you look at the big scheme of things, it's how do you change the world?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's what's up. I only know one medical doctor, and I didn't help him get through school. I just know him.
You just know him.
I know a bunch of nurses. I also did not help them get through school, but
are you going to put them all together and find a way to impact your community with the people that you know?
No, I'm not. I love all you guys, but no. But
wow.
I know, but check this out.
Okay.
I just got the idea. I've always had the idea of the foundation that I wanted to start, and now I know what it is.
Okay.
I even have a name for it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start it. I was like, it's like one of those things where you're like, when I get big, I want to do this. But I was like, yo, I can actually do it right now.
Yeah. And you're gonna tell the people, and the people are gonna hold you accountable.
Oh, this feels stressful. All right, so my foundation that I'm starting this year is called Lioness.
Okay.
And it's for single mothers. So basically, when I grew up in a single parent household, and my mom, obviously the single mom, because that's what single parent household means, right? And we lived in a middle class area, but we weren't exactly middle class, right? So in my mind, right, it's easier to live in a poor area and be poor because everybody's poor. We all got the same thing to talk about. We all eating top ramen. And
you don't see the things that you can't have.
Exactly. Whereas I was going to school with people that was going to old spaghetti factory, and I was eating spaghetti. You know what I mean? And I distinctly remember we went like where I was in student government, and we went to this like dinner. And they gave us a spoon with the pasta, like with the spaghetti. Oh, and I'm like, why the hell did they give us a spoon? And everybody's like, what? To spin the noodles. And then they put the fork on the spoon and like spun it. And I was like, oh yeah.
But that's where movies come into account. You know how I learned to use the proper forks and knives? Pretty Woman.
Ooh.
So it's like you gotta watch some of the pop culture. Or else it's like, how else would you know what to do when there's multiple forks and multiple knives? You get one knife, one fork.
I'm gonna tell you.
That's it.
No, the way them other people learn, they learn from their parents. Their parents showed them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, your dad taught you that, huh? Who's your dad?
You know what I learned in grad school? Bread and drink. Look, your bread go on the left because it's a B.
Oh,
your glass goes on this side because it's a D.
Oh,
I was 21 1 years old when I learned that.
I am today years old when I learned. Well, I always knew that your cup goes to the right, and I don't know. I picked that up on the Snapple fact or something. But
who knew that your bread was supposed to go over there? Because it's a B.
That's special. I put the bread in the middle. I put the bread on. The bread don't last long on my teeth. Let's just keep it a buck, okay? I see the bread, I eat the bread. That's it. Butter, no butter, don't matter.
What? Butter or no butter?
Thug life. Wow. The bread should be good. If you need butter for it, it's not good bread.
Okay.
This is how I live.
Do you have a bread maker?
I don't. Okay. Nah, I'm a Costco 2-loaf, $5.76 kind of brother. Okay. That's how I'm giving it up. Okay, so this is one of the last questions of the thing.
Ooh, then I get to ask him questions. It's gonna be so great.
Goodness.
He didn't even know I was gonna ask him questions.
Right, this is stressful.
Why is it stressful?
It's a fake stress, you know what I mean?
Cool.
It's a feeling of stress, but it's not actual stress.
You should be stressed because you don't know what I'm gonna ask you.
Right, but you didn't know either and you did fine.
Okay.
So we're doing great.
Oh yeah, it's a two-way trust street.
You see? I don't love that. I don't love the hand rub. Okay, so as we move forward, right? If you could draw up the perfect scenario of your life and like aspirations going forward, is there anything off the top of your head that you would like to put out into the internet to be looked at a different date and time, and you'd be like, damn, I called that, and we'd be like, oh, you sure did.
Wow.
At the 31-minute mark.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. So anything.
This is called being stumped.
No, I'm not stumped. I'm trying to pick.
Oh yeah, totally.
I would love to adopt children.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's lit. So funny. I was thinking. I was watching something the other day, and I was like, man, to have like a foster home would be dope.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think like and I don't know enough foster kids to really know for sure, but the narrative on foster care is dumpster, you know, so it's like to have like a lit little spotty spot.
Yeah. And really like impact and change people's lives.
Boom. It's been a pleasure. We're out of here in case I haven't said goodbye already. Shazam. Well, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
Right?